AKAPADers, welcome to day 3 of the 31 Days of Dread. We have Nicolas Cage portraying Dracula, and it's one of the all-time interpretations. Let's go. AKAPADers, welcome back to the 31 Days of Dread. This is where we do one horror movie a day for the entire month of October with midnight drops. Now, this episode's dropping a little bit after midnight because we had technical difficulties, had to redo the episode, but I'm sitting with you. So if you're listening to this, I recorded this episode just a few minutes ago because I know a lot of you are getting the updates. You're waking up, you're listening to the show, you're getting your horror movie fix, driving to work, walking to work, making your smoothie in your blender, grilling your turkey sausage, and listening to me, and I thank you guys so much for it. People, we gotta talk Nicolas Cage horror real quick before we jump into Renfield. I always say Renfield. It's Renfield. We got The Color of Space. We did Color of Space on this podcast. We did Mandy on this podcast. We did Parents on this podcast. We also had Willy's Wonderland. I'm not sure if I did Season of the Witch. I did The Wicker Man. I should be doing 8mm. I should be Vampire's Kiss. Prisoners of Ghostland. I haven't seen that one yet. I gotta see that. But Drive Angry. And technically Ghost Rider is a horror superhero. The point I'm getting at is there's no other actor today that's as prolific as Nicolas Cage. The idea of Nicolas Cage portraying Dracula, being Nicolas Cage, people, this is what the internet, this is gold, this is what everything we live for is all about. Now, this movie, Renfield, is a long servant of Dracula. It goes back to Bram Stoker's Dracula. And we go all the way into the modern day. And Dracula kind of gets inspired to take over the world. Renfield basically goes to a toxic friend work group, these are like almost scenes out of Fight Club. But he goes to this group for addiction, and it's for toxic friends, and they deprogram him. And he kind of withdraws from Dracula and starts to build a life until Dracula comes back to, guess what, take things over. And that's everything in Just. Now, along the way, we have different villains, newer characters that have the same vision as Dracula. Everything in the beginning of this movie, it's incredibly shot. The violence is amazing. The makeup. Nicolas Cage in the beginning of this movie, his makeup alone is worthy just to look at. This movie, it's a beautiful movie. I just enjoyed staring at this movie. We have a great cast, but there's also this other horror connection. Big shout out to Chris McKay, though. That's our director. He did Tomorrow War with Chris Pratt on Netflix. He is a animation special effects guy. He has a definite true career, and it's awesome that he kind of went from behind the camera to really working with actors. And I don't mean behind the camera. I mean he went for almost like switching mediums, and it's amazing when you see people kind of snake through the film industry in this interesting way. And I want to say, Chris McKay, I'm pretty sure was involved with DC, the DC Universe, Warner Brothers' most recent Flash movie, but he was involved with that I want to say almost 10 years ago. I'm just going off of memory. But big shout out to Chris McKay. Now, before we talk about the little crevice that this movie gives us, it's a full recommendation. This movie's violence alone is I don't know. It's just so much fun to look at. It's so over the top. It's great. We have Aquafina also. And whatever Aquafina's in, people, I'm all in. I love Aquafina. I just start giggling whenever she's on screen. Nicholas Hoult, he's Renfield. Absolutely amazing. So when the credits hit for this movie, and I kind of have to diss Peacock, because Peacock cut into another thumbnail just like HBO Max did for Exorcist. This is a practice. I gotta look into if I can turn this off on these apps. I want my movie to run into the credits, because we are film buffs here. I saw Robert Kirkman's story. And okay, Robert Kirkman, he's the guy behind the Walking Dead comic book. He now runs this kind of like entertainment Ponzi scheme scam, Skybound Entertainment, where they have open investments and you can just give them money and they tell you you're going to get your money back. It's a weird thing. I made a video on it on YouTube, so I just had to look it up. I'm like, is this the Robert Kirkman? And then later I found out that this movie is produced by Skybound Entertainment, his production company, at the cost of $60 million, and the movie made one half of that. Only made about $30 million. This movie's success was $65 million actually, but the success of Renfield, basically you want to say crash Skybound Entertainment as a production company. Now I know Skybound is rolling out, it seems to be infinite Walking Dead series. I think there's 4 Walking Dead series now outside of Walking Dead proper that ended maybe like a year or 2 ago. But again, I'm loving the connective tissue of this. I love Nicolas Cage. I'm loving Robert Kirkman's involvement. I'm loving Chris McKay, Aquafina, Nicholas Hoult, the newer characters. And I say new characters because this is pretty much a story of Dracula. So everything around him, you have to kind of invent, because we know Dracula through and through. I would say this is an incredible performance by Nicolas Cage. Originally, this movie was disappointing to a lot of people, and I would say the reason for that is because Nicolas Cage just wasn't Dracula enough in this movie. This movie is called Renfield, and it's about Renfield, and people just wanted all Nicolas Cage, and rightfully so, because he is beyond good in this movie. This is another feather, not in Nicolas Cage's cap, but in his horror cap. And that kind of leads us into day 4, because day 4 we're going to hit Willy's Wonderland, another movie people acted disappointed about. This is an absolutely fun movie, people. Last year we did a movie with Jamie Foxx called Night Shift. I think these 2 movies, just based on their visual, are very well paired together. Go check it out. Renfield, available right now on Peacock.